さあ、実験を始めようか。
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Geek Gap with Tommy. And this week, Kamen Rider Build is the topic. The series just ended, and we're about to start the ZO line. I really want to talk about the series that is Build. I've been following for the last couple of months now, and I actually really liked it. This is one of my favorite Kamen Riders. The base form is actually really beautiful. I think Sento is actually an okay character overall, and the cast of other characters to come are just fantastic, and it just keeps the series going. The theme is very Sherlock Holmes. It's a lot of murder, mystery, and a lot of it is just time left to power of deduction and science, and I really like that about the show. 1 through 7 is very slow, so you have to be kind of patient to let it build up and then kind of build up and then just kind of create that foundation for you and all the characters. The overall theme is just very fun, and you'll be able to enjoy it once it gets to the end game. The skywall is a very interesting concept along with the bottles. It's very unique. It feels a lot like Forze, and it also feels at the same time feels a lot like Double at the same time. The toys are unique in a sense where they feel like the Switches, but yet all the devices bring everything all together. After that, I'm going to get into more in-depth, so it's a lot of spoilers up ahead. You've been warned. So if you guys haven't watched the series yet, I advise you guys to go check it out. It's actually a very good series. And then you feel free to come visit back this video again. Alright, so Sento. Overall, he's the main character. He's the male lead, and I feel that he is the weakest character. He is probably my least favorite character next to Itsumi, because I feel that he's just so cookie cutter. Especially when he meets Kataragi, or aka Philip, version 2.0. The inner talks are interesting, but however, I feel that his IQ is so random. At one point, he's just like a physicist, he's genius, and then after 1 second, he's a geneticist. After that, he's a chemist. After that, he's just an inventor. He is everything that the plot needs him to be, and it's just kind of bounces all around, and it makes it a little hard to watch. Especially because, like, I really liked his ahoge, but after like the season, it just kind of disappears, and it makes me sad. And I would have loved to see more of a better development between him and Misora. And Misora is the main lead. She is the main female lead in Kamen Rider Build. And however, she again doesn't feel very exciting. She's just like a plot device to purify the bottles, and then after that, once she merges with like Vernage while they take over that arc a little bit, again it's just convenient point to save the riders, and afterwards like she starts getting scared, and then like her emotions are like a roller coaster. She's very kind of like meh, and then afterwards like Nitan, she's so exciting, and then another time you kind of just like see her as just crying all the time at the ending of the season, which is kind of sad. It gets really disappointing. You see like such a unique character kind of express these emotions, but you just can't really follow along with them, so you don't really relate to them. And I really wanted to see more Mitan. Like, the Mitan network was like the best thing, and they did use it a few times, and I'm like, you guys are, man, like, you guys messed up on that. That could have been something so great. And then we go to someone like Ryuga Banjo. In the beginning, I didn't think I was gonna like Ryuga so much. Ryuga Banjo felt a lot like Shunpei, and I felt like, oh no, this character is gonna tag out throughout the whole entire series, and he's gonna be super annoying. And it turns out that he was actually a really good secondary character for the male lead. It was just like his willpower, his anger, his passion, everything was so great about him, and I just really liked any episode that featured him, except the part when he was just like crying a lot about his innocence. That was really boring, but they got rid of that really soon. Especially when he gets his like next few forms, like it just gets really weak, and we'll talk about that more. Sawa, I mentioned her. She's actually a very great character. In the beginning, I felt the same way. I was like, oh no, she's gonna be super annoying. But then afterwards, like, she's such an important plot device, especially because she becomes like, you find out she's a part of like Namba's like children, and like Itsumi, the underlayers like a lot of the hidden parts of the plot. It just ties everything together, and it makes Build so good. And that's why I really like her. And I love the fact that she extorts like Kazumi, who is another one of my favorite characters, and he's Kamen Rider Grease. And Grease overall, he feels in the beginning when I met him as Grease, I was like, oh man, this guy is so edgy, I'm not gonna like him. Especially, but then you kind of find out his backstory, and you're just like, man, you just really love him and his like, and the Akaba and the crew, and where he cares about them, and then it turns out to be use that for like energy and his passion to fight, and gives him a reason to fight. And then you kind of get that with Gentoku too. Like Gentoku, he's from business to beardo, and he gets so weird because he just keeps getting progressively more edgy as the series gets on. And that's what I really liked about him. Night Rogue, it didn't really fit him because it just felt like he was always sitting in that chair, and afterwards he becomes like Rogue, Kamen Rider Rogue. Like that is him. That is Gentoku through and throughout, and that form is just gorgeous. Like I love that form so much, and we'll talk about that a little. Itsumi, like again, he was another kind of character, was kind of there, like the president of Namba, but he actually pulls through and kind of creates a unique twist, and it really gives a change for Gentoku to change, and it helps. But Itsumi, for me, like he felt like it was interesting. Like he was very easy to read. He didn't really feel evil throughout the whole series, and you kind of get that. You like Michi was evil. Like you could feel Michi's a bad person, but with him, like I didn't really feel like he was a really bad person after all, even though he was crazy, you know. And then Ivalto, he is the main villain throughout, and he's very smart. He's a being who has lived for many eons, and he just likes to devour. He's kind of like Galactus. And sometimes it's kind of hard to believe the fact that he doesn't have any emotions, especially because he's so charismatic. And then you realize, like, into the season, yeah, he doesn't really care, and then he starts growing into a fondness over humans, and it's very interesting. And I really did like him. And like any good villain, he just monologues for too long, and you know, he could have destroyed the Earth like a gajillion times through like the whole entire season, but he didn't really do it. He was just kind of memeing most of the time. It's just very interesting. Rabbit Tank, amazing. It's just the best base form. It's just so beautiful. That red and that blue just really contrast each other really well. Kind of like doubles form with Joker and Cyclone. It's just very nice, and there's like a really good contrast to it. I didn't really like, well, I can't really remember all the forms because there were just like 60 bottles, 30 best matches, and he doesn't really use most of them. The one you see is Ninja Comic, Gorilla Diamond, Gatling Hawk. You kind of get to see those a lot, but you don't really see anything else. Even though I like, you know, Octopus Light, you really never see it for more than a couple of episodes. And it's kind of sad because all these bottles are so unique, you really never get to see them. And then Sparking. Sparking is an overall waste of a form. Like it was just like a couple of episodes, and then afterwards, like they leave it, and you get something like Hazard. And Hazard is just so freaking cool. It's just amazing, and it just overshadows, you know, Sparking. But then you get something like the full bottle forms, or like Tank, Rabbit, and those forms just like overshadow the other forms. However, when from Tank and Rabbit, you get Genius, and I didn't really like Genius. Overall, Genius felt gaudy. I know they were trying to put all the bottles into him and make him all like super shiny, but you know, I didn't really feel it. It feels like they've been losing their touch with final forms ever since they went past Infinity. I think Kamen Rider Trideron was kind of hard to stomach down, and it was hard to watch. And he was okay. Like Infinity was a little hard to see, but it was alright. I didn't really hate it. And Trideron, it grew on me after a while. But, you know, things like Ghost's final form was like alright, and Muteki, I hated. Like, I hated Muteki's form. Like, I don't even know what I was looking at most of the time. And it was really disappointing. And same thing with Genius. Genius is like, overall, it was very disappointing, and it felt like Ex-Aid, where he could just reprogram bottles as he was hitting them. And I was like, this is just so convenient. Next, I want to talk about Ryuga's form. Banjo's forms are so cool. Cross Dragon, amazing as the first form, base form. It's really beautiful. It's like Meteor. It just didn't really need to grow. And when he got Cross Charge, I wasn't crazy about it, but I really liked the passion that he was coming through and fighting through it. And finally, his best form, I have to say, Cross Magma. Oh my god, this form is gorgeous through and through. It is a heaping bunch of orange, but it is so cool. From the transformation form where the like magma bucket dumps on and it cools off, breaks off into like dragons. It's just amazing. Magma form is so cool. The fighting style, it's so unique. The knuckle is cool. Everything about it, I really like. It was a form really made for Ryuga. That's because I didn't really understand why he got the Beat Saber, like the sword. It wasn't really matching with him. But then when they gave him the Knuckle Dusters for Cross Charge and Magma form, it's just perfect for him. And it's similar how I felt about Night Road. Like, in the beginning when I saw him, I was like, this form is pretty cool, but it didn't really feel... It felt like a lot like Kiba. The same thing with Bloodstark. They felt like very Kiba. And then when he became Rogue, I just fell in love with it. That purple, like I said, is like one of the best forms ever. And that form is probably the coolest purple form of any Kamen Rider. Sorry Hibiki, sorry Chaser, they're replaced with best purple. This form is gnarly cool, especially with his like kick, which is like a giant chomping, and it feels a lot like O's reptile form. And then you get something like Grease. You get Grease, and first of all, I looked at Grease, I thought he was kind of boring. He actually reminds me of Jungle's hero, Zeros. He looks very similar to him, so when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, it's Zeros. They look like they lifted the whole entire helmet and everything off of him. And I just got remnants of it. But the Blizzard form, which Grease gets into the final power-up, I actually really liked it. It's so cool. It's so sad that we don't get to see it for more than, like, count it, maybe it's about an episode worth of the fight. And Kazumi should have deserved more than that. That form should have, like, knocked so many people on their butts, man. Like, that form is totally cool. And it's very disappointing that you don't get to see it. And then you get Evolt's forms. Like, he goes through like a lot of evolution forms, and they're kind of really ugly. Like, first, like, Bloodstark was kind of hard on the eyes, and next thing you know, you get like Evolt Cobra, and then they just keep getting red, and there's this white on top of the red, and it's really confusing overall. But his final form as a kaijin, like the monster, was actually really cool. Like, I really liked. And I felt like all the forms up to leading to that form, it's so sleek. It's finally a really good villain form. And as for the toys, like, overall the toys, like, I feel that this time Bandai did a okay job. The pricing wasn't too bad, especially because the bottles are pretty expensive. If you think about their 60 bottles and they're 2 in a set, if you buy the candy toy versions, are like $5 to $6. So you're actually spending quite an amount. But the one thing that really upset me the most was the Pandora panels. Like, they're $50 each. You know, and some of them are like 80 bucks. So there's really no point. They don't light up. They don't tell you if it's a best match. Like, what's the point? You know, like, well, you're spending like $300. Like, I could spend it on better merchandise than that. And that's really disappointing. The one thing I did really like, though, was the build driver itself was okay, except that the speaker for it loses out to a lot of the toys. The Evolt trigger, sorry, not the Evolt, the Hazard trigger makes so much more louder noise compared to this one. You can't hear it, and it gets overwhelmed by this one. You get a lot the same thing with, you know, the Dragon, it's the same thing, and the sound gets drowned out. You know, this version of the sparking is actually really nice. It's actually, the metal on it, the chrome plating is actually really nice overall the toy. However, you kind of, once you get things like the full tank, full bottles, they're kind of lackluster, especially for the Genius bottle. I felt they could have done a better job with the yellow. This clear makes it look really cheap. However, the holographic inside is very similar to the one that has a Trider on. And the bottles overall should have been more like Rogue's bottle. It lights up, it has sound, and these ones are just really plain. Like, they're just very see-through, and all you do is shake them up. Especially, I think, if we live in this time where you get things like, you know, game cartridges from Ex-Aid, it could have done something better with the bottles. This is just proof that they could have done a better job for this one. See, it just doesn't make any sense to me. The premium versions and the Kanto versions, they almost have no difference except a few paint details, and it feels like, again, like the Forza switches. You know, you collect all the switches and you can't, and then just, at the end it's just the stickers, and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it. Overall, I really do enjoy Build. The ending was unique, and it's kind of like Kiva's ending, where it's going to tie into Decades. And I feel like Build is going to tie into Zio very well, especially since at the ending, really big spoiler, their world is now a singular point when they fuse these two worlds together. And they're going to have some consequences from that. I think Zio is going to do a great job to clean up this. And as for Zio, I have a lot of big expectations for it. Decade let me down heavily. But already I know that the actor who plays Takumi from Fives and the actor who plays Kaiza is going to be making an appearance again for like the first couple of episodes. And I cannot wait because I love both actors so much. Takumi and Kusaka are like probably the coolest characters in the Kamen Rider history. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Zio. So I'm going to pass it on. What did you guys think about Build? Did you guys watch it? Did you guys drop off at any time? What parts you guys didn't like? Did you guys collect any of the toys? And are you guys excited for Zio? Please let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe and like my video. And as always, Izumi always says, ciao!